What's going on, guys? So what I want to go over here is Apple's chart. So today Apple was up $1.35. The reason why I want to go over Apple because it presented a little bit of a long-sided trade today, and I'm going to kind of show you that on a smaller time frame. But one thing that I do want to cover, if we kind of go back to last week, Apple had that aggressive breakdown on the 17th, right? So notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, we are kind of building this floor, right? So anytime you go through a level of distribution, you go through a level of consolidation or a time period of consolidation, the longer you trade sideways, the bigger the move, whether it's breaking out to the downside or to the top side. In this particular case on Apple last week, we broke down to the downside. This was an awesome flush that a lot of people inside of Evolution Traders took, along with myself, because we were anticipating the move. So one thing that I do want to get across here, the point that I do want to make is we need to be able to start identifying patterns, and we need to start identifying supply and demand zones, and we need to get over the fear of taking trades. I'm noticing more and more as I work with more and more traders is that fear, whether that's fear of losing, fear of being wrong, fear of just the market's beating you up for quite some time, is what's kind of holding us back from being successful as a trader. And inside Evolution Traders, I offer to work one-on-one with traders who have specific problems, whether it be, over trading or fear or entries or setting stop losses or mindset, psychology. It doesn't really matter. We can definitely tackle each individual separately. And I have different exercises and practices that we can kind of go through and start implementing to help you become a better trader. But in this particular scenario, you can see here on Friday, we put in that low and then we had that aggressive reversal. So today is day 2 of that aggressive bounce on Apple, as well as a lot of the other stocks in the overall market. Now, if I just kind of go down here to, the 5-minute time frame, this presented a little bit of a bounce opportunity today. And you can see off the bell, we were essentially trading sideways, kind of just pitter pattering between, the 20 SMA, which is the white line, and the 200, which is the yellow line. But you'll notice here, right? You'll notice here, if you kind of draw this intraday level of demand, right, just for today on a 5-minute time frame, you can see we dropped, we put in this low. And one thing that I want to point out, what you guys all need to start identifying is, look at what happens once we lost this yellow line, which is a 200, right? We lost a 200-day moving average. We put in a low. And what did we do? We bounced, right? So if this is our drop, right, this bounce is our retest. So break, retest, and then we put in a new low, okay? So we never really confirmed the second low after the initial drop. So you can see the first drop here, back test, second drop, we stopped. This was an area to put a hard stop loss to potentially try to bounce Apple outside of this intermediate, intraday demand zone here. Another setup here could have been once we started to reclaim the 20 SMA with anticipations of breaking the 200. Again, you would set a 1-bar stop loss, or the low of day would be your hard stop, which is really not that big of a stop. Even if we look at the entry from here of 174.37 down to around 173.75, we're looking at 50-60 cents worth of risk, which is very, very minuscule, right, for the potential upside that we've seen here. Now, your first potential profit taking zone could have been somewhere in here, right, which was going to be the pre-market highs and our original high of day. So this hold level here could have been a potential area to kind of, sell for profits and or hold a runner, right? So if we look at the entry prices between 174 and let's call it 174.50 into this next supply zone, intermediate, intraday supply zone here, we would be looking at a potential kind of, bounce, right, intraday of around 80 cents to $1, which is fantastic on a stock like Apple. And I started calling this chart out in Evolution Traders in the Discord, when we were kind of, hanging out down here. I kind of marked out this level. I sent it to everyone in the room, so everyone else can make their own, kind of judgment on it, whether they wanted to get into the play or not. Now, again, once we started to really reclaim this 20 period moving average and get over the 200, it was nothing but, open skies from there. We obviously broke the high of day pre-market high here, and we ran all the way up to a price of 176.14. So, Apple set up a very, very nice play here, about $1.50 worth of room here. So that was a hell of a trade that someone could have taken. But I want you guys to kind of notice something. If this is our daily, right, our daily and hourly kind of demand zone, this is our daily and hourly bigger time frame supply zone. Essentially, we traded within the middle of the range, right? So if you kind of go back, right, let's look at the hourly very, very quickly. If we look at this hourly chart, you're going to notice here Friday's lows at 170, 170, right? We never came down and tested Friday's lows. We also, if I kind of zoom out a little bit, we never really got back above the original breakdown spot. So now if you start to zoom out and look at it from a bigger overall picture, if we were consolidating sideways, once we broke down, here's our breakdown, here's our retest bounce. Does it mean that Apple's out of the water? Does it mean that Apple's going back to all-time highs? Of course not, because this is just a classic break, retest. Potentially we could do something like this where we're kind of just stalling out around this range. You can see this 200 SMA kind of also declining here, coming down into 178.84. Now, as time passes, this is going to continue to decline here. We could get rejected, and if we do get rejected where we never put in a high over the 200 SMA back test and push higher, one thing that I would be looking for would be a chart pattern that's going to play out like this, right? Gets rejected, and once it doesn't get above, right, get above this supply zone, as soon as we start to lose it, I would definitely go short here. Once we come out of this rejection spot with anticipations of playing it back down into demand, and again, potentially to see a new low. So again, yes, this is a day 1, 2 bounce. Could we be looking at a day 3 bounce that starts to get rejected in this zone? Then we definitely need to be looking at taking it short, right? If it's a 3-day little bit of a bounce. Now, one thing that's going to definitely sway the markets this week is going to be those NVIDIA earnings that come out on Wednesday. Again, if you guys are trading options on the option side of things and you guys are trading NVIDIA, be careful. Those premiums are absolutely juiced, looking at $2,000, $3,000 a contract for playing in the money, at the money. So definitely be careful on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these levels up and I'm going to kind of expand them going into tomorrow. So Apple's definitely going to be a stock that I will be looking at this week going forward, because I want to see, do we come up into this zone and start to get rejected? I'm going to be looking for the short position on that rejection. If we can get out of this supply zone and then kind of put in a high above it and then back test it, I will be looking for the long. So again, we need to be kind of cautious as to where we're putting our money and understand where potentially these prices can go. So again, I'm also going to extend this intraday demand zone here. This is going to act as a little bit of a shorter term pit stop. And I'm going to expand this a little bit. And I'll expand that into tomorrow. Same thing with this. Now, if you kind of look right at the original rejection spot here, we broke out and now we're back testing. So again, these break and retest are very, very good tools to use. They're very, very good patterns to use. We broke out, we put in a high, now we're pulling back. Do we consolidate and push off? If we do, you're going to want to get long on the push off. Again, if we start to lose this zone, look for 174.97 to act as an area of support. If we do close below that, you would be looking down here in the 173s, you know, to short and take profits. Again, you want to bounce off this 200 SMA if we do pull back. Again, I hope this video helps you guys. If it does, and you guys do like this type of technical analysis, make sure you guys become a lifetime member at Evolution Traders, where I'm going over this kind of stuff live intraday in real time. Again, it's very beneficial to start trading with other people who are doing this on a day in and day out basis. That way you guys can sort of ask questions, you can be in the loop, you can understand, you know, how to be consistent, how not to be fearful. Again, eliminating that fear and having the confidence to take these trades and having technical stop losses is what this game is all about. So if you don't have the confidence, or you lack the confidence, get with us in the room. We can definitely get you on the right path. And again, I'll see all of you guys on the next video.